Hey everyone, it's 2016. Happy!
But
Am I alone on this one?
Yeah,
Seriously?
it's February.
You guys suck. Anyway, yeah, the first episode for 2016. I am the best Lee ever, and I'm with some other people. Not sure if they want to be introduced or not.
I'm H_26.
Okay.
I am just a man.
Yes, the vendor man.
No, don't tell them things about me. I'm just a man.
And then there's a good Zani. There's Nikita woman.
Actually calls you this.
Let me read something
Ruzani
else to you guys.
Disgusting.
I almost forgot about it. So, going. Call it bittersweet. A high school football star who was once one of the most highly sought after athletes in the nation has had a rape charge against him dropped after a woman confessed on Facebook that the rape never happened. Brian Banks, who is now 26 years old, spent 6 years in prison and broke down crying when the prosecutor moved to have the case dismissed. Should women go to jail for false rape accusations?
Considering that jail or things that generally ruin people's lives are criminalized, the justification for making something illegal is that it usually ends, harms, or ruins a life. For example, fraud and all those things. You destroy the livelihood of another person, right? If you do destroy someone's life by falsely accusing them of rape and it's proven that the accusation was false, then you should face jail time. You ruined their life. This guy was promising. He was going to go to college. He was going to become a great football star. But these rape accusations ended up with him going to jail for 6 years. Now, for 6 years of his life, there's no way he's going to get a decent job. No college is going to accept him at this age. All the prospects that he had are over. She literally destroyed the rest of his life. She shouldn't be allowed to walk around freely.
I agree. I completely agree. I think even then, it's why would you lie about something like this and not? And there, in some cases, I mean, there are women who get away with this sort of thing. You know, a man will sit in prison for like over 25 years for a crime he didn't commit. You know, I think they should. Yeah, as a woman, I'm saying that yes, they should.
I also agree. Totally.
They should.
I also agree.
It's rubbish. Like, I honestly feel like it's unfair.
I feel like she should. Going to jail is not enough.
That's all we can do, though.
Yeah, I get that, but there's something lacking. But anyway,
Death sentence, maybe? No?
No. Kill them.
Jail without parole?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Whoa.
But what if she's
No.
psycho?
Look, what if a person who rapes doesn't get jail without parole? So why would a woman who falsely accuses of rape get jail without parole?
Yep.
Your punishment is
Because
too
she
harsh.
lied.
It's unfair.
Okay. You saying what if she's psycho? Psycho, then you must go to a psycho place for the same amount of time and get fixed.
Until
Yeah,
you're
but
not
you
psycho.
won't know she's psycho until you face her.
They'd have
For
to
her, she's
test.
normal.
They'd have to undergo psychiatric tests.
Yeah, but whichever way, she mustn't be free.
But you don't know what she did it for.
It doesn't matter.
What
she
reasons
lied.
could a
She
person
fucked up
possibly
my
have?
life.
No, let's talk about this
Oh.
then. What reasons could a person possibly have
I mean, were you
to
falsely
lie?
accused of rape?
Yeah, you see, that's why I have.
She touches him on the
issues.
inside.
That's
She's still alive.
She's alive and nothing happened to her. I'm playing. Yeah, but what possible reasons would you have?
To lie about something like that.
Guys, you never know.
You know what? The thing is, right? If we're gonna have this discussion, we have to decide what we're doing. What are we doing? We're criminalizing false accusations
Okay.
about rape.
Yes, it's wrong.
Specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a lawyer. I have very little legal training, right? But if you're going to criminalize something, then there's punishment. And the punishment must be equal to the crime,
Okay.
right? You can't death sentence someone for stealing a candy bar. That's ridiculous. So, lying about being raped, right? Then we have to look at the degree of it. If you lied and the man served 50 years in jail and you are found, right? We can't bring those 50 years back, unfortunately. but the punishment can be to such an extent where you get maybe life in prison. Something like that. If you lie and the guy doesn't even face jail time, then we could maybe give you 3 months suspended prison. It goes on your record, and maybe you get a criminal record. You don't have to serve jail time. The guy didn't serve jail time, you know. But as much as we want to punish everyone, we must still be fair. Now, the problem is the society we live in, right? Where the first question when someone says, I was raped, is, are you sure you're not lying? When the reality of it is, the accusation should be, I was raped, and okay, let's investigate what happened. But that's not what happens, right? We victim blame to the end, right? Until a woman shows a video of a man raping her, and even then, it was like, no, the image is grainy, are you sure you didn't say yes earlier, and then you changed your mind during? That's still rape, but still, you know, society is so much for protecting men who are accused of rape, that if we did implement a law where false accusations led to jail time or punishment for women, right, the rape stats would plummet. Why? Because no one would ever report rape again, ever. This law doesn't look like it's going to protect men who are falsely accused as much as it's going to just protect men in general, even those who say rape.
Okay. See, that makes more sense.
So, as much as I'd like there to not be any false accusations, because, I mean, that could ruin your life, right? We must look at the other end of the spectrum. Rape is a serious problem. It's not being properly dealt with. And until it is, we can't put any cards that would disadvantage the already disadvantaged group, which is women who are raped, or rape victims in general, because not just women who are raped.
Also, earlier we read some post on 9gag, né? These twin girls used to tag each other out of sex and then have sex with a guy. Let's say it's me and you, né? We're twins, me and you, and then we have sex with the ex-woman. I have sex with her, and then I'm like, let me go get a glass of water, and then you come in as me, and then have sex with that woman. And then somebody commented and said, you girls are actually rapists.
Yeah.
Because the other person didn't consent to any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because it's 9gag, some other one was like, you guys are evil because, what's it?
I can't even remember.
Something
there were a lot
like
of
cool
funny
points or
comments.
something like that.
Yeah.
You're denying these guys cool points about the number of women they slept with.
No, that's silly.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. That technically is rape. Sex without consent. It's actually very disgusting behavior. Why would you do that? Then you say, I'm tired, let's stop. Why must we I've never understood. There is no. Have you ever sat down and thought about justifications? Now, this is just broad, right? The justifications we have, yeah? I cheated on my girlfriend. Why? No, I just felt like the spark was gone. Okay, why didn't you tell her that you feel the spark is gone and break up with her? No, I still want to be with her. Why? The spark is gone. No, you see, all these justifications. Be honest with yourself. Then you can be honest with the world. Then you don't have to do a lot of crap.
Amen, brother.
Right? The minute we're honest with ourselves, the world is nice, bro. The world is so nice.
There we go.
So, you like a certain type of woman, again?
Yes.
You like a certain type of man. Don't just say
He
that.
Is
just
everything
mustn't-
okay?
He
You must just
mustn't smell bad.
Okay.
So you do like a certain
Yes,
type
you
of
like
man.
a certain type.
And then you also like a certain type of guy.
Absolutely.
So now, does having preferences make you shallow?
Can I just say something which will probably blow the question out of the water?
Don't make me feel like an idiot though.
No. Everyone is shallow. Everybody who says they're not shallow is lying. Here's why, right? If we look at shallowness as looking at material or surface things and then making a judgment based on that, right? Then everybody's shallow, right? I look at someone beautiful, someone who's traditionally considered beautiful, and I find them beautiful, and I only interact with those kinds of people will call me shallow. But if I do the exact opposite, am I not shallow? Am I not looking at people's physical appearances and saying, these people are not typically beautiful, I will only associate with them, right? If you've ever said, I am not shallow because I only interact with ugly people, you're very shallow. You only interact with people because of the way they look, ugly, right? Just because it's not the typical method of being shallow, you're still shallow. Human beings are shallow. That is how we learn to survive. You see something in the wild, you make a quick judgment, and you move on. right?
Make a quick judgment
You act on it or you move on.
You act on it or you
about
move.
ugly people.
Exactly, you make quick
Then you
judgments.
run away.
That's what
Yeah.
you do. You make a quick judgment. I'm not going to interact with this one because she's too tall. I'm not going to interact with this one because her eyes are
Exactly.
funny. I'm not going to interact with this. Or I'm going to interact with this one because I like the way her hair looks. I'm going to interact with him because I like the way he smells. I'm not going to interact with him because he doesn't like the way he smells. Everybody is shallow. If you're not shallow, you're not human. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Making
Well,
me
I
feel
guess,
stupid.
you know,
Sorry.
Rizani kind of answered the question, but at the
Yeah,
same
like,
time,
thanks for
nullified it, so it's like,
You must just learn
What?
to shut up sometimes.
we need to have restrictions with Rizani on the episode.
Yeah.
Some episodes he'll come through, others no.
Like
I'm
you must
joking.
answer 2 questions in
I'm
the episode.
I should just talk last.
Yeah.
Rather,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, cool. Let's just tackle this one real quick. Things that should be left in 2015, right? Nikita, what are some of the things that you think should be left? Maybe not even 2015, but just like
Left.
not move beyond 2016. Or not move beyond last month. Yeah. Okay. H?
I don't have any. I'm okay with letting people be themselves until it affects me though. And I don't like it.
Okay.
This must fall campaign, ne? And I'm gonna get hated for this, but I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
This everything must fall. I'm tired. I am tired. It's becoming, it's gonna become a thing of the paint on the walls should be a certain color because it infringes on whatever oppression we went through when we were young. Here's the thing, ne? The campaign started off with a really strong message, and I was behind it. But in 2016, it's moving towards an irrational, and it's reversing what the system is, and then we're not achieving anything. People don't realize that they're running in circles. It went from we don't have this to we must take from them, and that's, for me, it's becoming a serious problem, and I don't agree with that. And yellow bone syndrome must stop.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Oh my goodness. That needs to come to an end too. I agree. I completely agree. Yes.
People are petty. Yeah? So the one thing that they found is throughout history, whenever there was a group that oppressed another group, when the group that was oppressed gained freedom, their first reaction was not to equalize everything like they fought for. People fight for equality, but once they reach in a position of power, they want to exact revenge. It's just human nature, right? You treated us like this, we want to treat you like that now. And that's exactly what we're seeing in South Africa. People will try to make you think that South Africa is such a unique case, and it's not. We're just like everybody else. In the Middle East, there's always been a war between the 2 types of Muslims. I think it's Sunnis and Shiites, right?
Yeah.
And then one of the biggest conflicts in Iraq was that I'm not sure which one was in power, and then Saddam Hussein and his people took over, right? And when they took over, they started oppressing the ones who were oppressing them. Pardon me. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? So it is very natural for whoever was oppressed, in South Africa's context, black people, to want to now be oppressive, right? And that's just the way the world works. The best handled case of such a system in the world to date is the Germany with the Jews and the Nazis, right? At this current point in time in South Africa, you have a situation where former perpetrators of crimes during apartheid, people who actively participated in prolonging apartheid, are free because of TRC, because they made amends, because they said no. And you have freedom fighters who are still in jail, PAC, former PAC members or whatever, right? I'm not so sure about that, but you read about it, people are talking about it, and it's a thing, right? In Nazi Germany, no Nazi officer can walk around saying, yeah, I was a Nazi officer. Those people had to pay actual money. How many white people had to pay actual money back to black people? With land that was stolen, we were like willing buyer, willing seller. But there's a problem. Willing buyer doesn't have the money that willing seller is selling at. Because the land that he had that gave him his livelihood was taken from him, and he wasn't allowed to go to school to get a good job, right? So how is willing buyer, willing seller going to work? It's not, right? We implemented systems that wouldn't work because it seemed as if the idea was to just change the picture on the outside of the book, but keep the pages the same. We haven't changed anything. There haven't really been reparations for apartheid in this country. And until there are, we're going to have this anger. everything's going to have to fall. We're going to have to destroy Pretoria because when you walk through the streets, you remember the parts you couldn't walk in because you didn't have a dumb pass. We'll have to do that. Before we can build the new, we must remove the old. And we haven't removed the old. We just painted over it and said, look, it's new. That's in response to Nikita.
And it's even worse because those that are in the position to make a difference are doing the very same thing that the past did to their people.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just whatever was happening just included blacks now.
Yeah.
Basically.
And unfortunately, did I give my identity out at the beginning?
Not your, well,
It kind of was.
yeah.
Whatever, it's fine. Honestly, in my opinion, until the president is removed, we are not moving forward. We are not moving forward. And it's not even just the president. Because this fear of choosing anything other than ANC,
I was about to say that.
it's the biggest syndrome that the country is facing. And it's not even we have a problem with the party, we just have we have a problem with the man running the country. Because the ANC does have very strong leaders, but the man on the front cover.
It's a situation where the political party does not serve the people who voted it in.
Yeah.
The people who voted it in will vote it in regardless of whatever happens because of whatever, right? And the political party realizes this and realizes they can now serve themselves because they're safe.
They're banking.
Right? The best way to keep a political party in check is to make them realize that they are not safe. And as much as loyalists want you to, will feel like that's a bad thing to do, the ANC must feel safe. You want something, you'll have to feel safe to be able to grow in its safety.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way to control it is to take away the safety.
Yeah.
The ANC must know that if they fuck up, we can vote them out tomorrow.
Also, the thingy, this whole ANC celebration thing for their birthday or whatever, I was in Cape Town over December. I was in Pretoria over December. I was in around close to Rustenburg, but not in Rustenburg over December. I saw no billboards or advertisements of that thing except for on TV anywhere else but in Rustenburg,
Because it's not
where
for
it was
the people.
held.
It's not for the people. It's not for the people of the country.
I
It's
feel
for
like
the ANC members.
I feel like it was there. It was mainly there because the support base was that big there, so it would seem like there were more people in support of the ANC, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, look, politics is dirty, right? Politics is the worst thing to ever happen to human society. Leadership is great, politics is terrible. And unfortunately, leadership has taken politics on as a tool, pardon me, in order to work, to function in society. So, the politics thing, I don't want to get into that. That's where you get people who are scared to give their identity when voicing their opinion in a democratic nation because you're going to get fired.
Sure.
That shouldn't be the case. No one should be scared to say things like we're saying. But we are, because politics, right? And it's dirty, it's disgusting, right? And the ANC did what it did, the DA does what it does, everybody's doing what they're doing. All of it, dirty, disgusting, right? But it's politics, it's the game, you gotta play it, right? And that is what it is. But the problem with this country is now we can't separate politics from governance. Those two are two different things.
Okay.
Governing and politics are different. We use politics to pick the people who will govern. Once they are picked as the people who are governing, they must govern and then politic, right? But in this country, we pick people to govern, they politic, and they never govern. If they ever govern at all, it's very little, and it's very poor, right? And people will say, no, when you're anti-government, you're anti-ANC. This is because the ANC has been in the government for the longest, right? In the new democratic government. And all the things that went wrong didn't go wrong before the ANC. Some of the things that went wrong are going wrong under the ANC. So if we criticize the government and the ANC takes it personally, they can do one of two things. Change or just accept. Don't get mad at me if I point out that what you did was wrong, right? Accept that you did what you did was wrong. Or show me why it's not. That's my biggest problem with this country. That's my biggest problem with talking politics in this country. If you say there is this money, it was lost, right? There will be two camps. People who will not look at why it was lost, right? Because they hate the ANC and everything the ANC is terrible. And that's not the case. And then they'll get ANC apologists who, even if the ANC came into their own house and stole all of their property, right, and beat them up and did that, and they're like, we are doing this as the ANC. The next they were like, no, they had their reasons, right? And those two extremes are terrible for a democratic country. The beauty of democracy is the fact that as a common man, I can now criticize the wrong as much as praise the good, whether I voted for them or not, right? I must be willingly and safely able to say, oh, I like what they did here, or I don't like what they did here, without anybody jumping on my back, without anybody trying to control what I'm saying. My freedoms of free speech must be controlled. And until we have that proper... The thing is, the idea of democracy is very beautiful and everybody wants to push it. But in the whole world, there isn't really a democratic country. None. Okay. There's many countries that pretend to be democratic, that wear the mask of democracy, that have 4 out of the 9 things you need to be a democracy. But no country has even 8 out of 9. None. The closest we have to that is the Scandinavian countries with their form of socialism, and that's not even democracy. That's socialism. It's complete. It's not even the same thing.
Scandinavian is Norway, Finland, then.
Yeah, Sweden, Norway, Finland.
Up there.
Yeah, those are northern countries. Very beautiful places.
All right.
You know, in those countries, right? In this country, we have a minister of transport, right, for the country, and
another for women and children. Apparently, it's a new ministry now.
That's been a new ministry since Jacob Zuma was in charge.
Yeah.
Say that again.
A ministry for women and children.
Right.
What?
We have a okay. Let's take
Department of Women and Children.
It's job creation.
Let's go. That's not the point. Let's look at it like from this perspective, right? The mayor of Tshwane, right? Does he live in Tshwane? Not near Tshwane. Not in one of the suburbs. Not in Pretoria East. I feel like the minister of Pretoria, Tshwane, must live in Tshwane, right? Anywhere in Tshwane, he can live there, right? Fine. We take that box. He is in charge of the public transport system in Tshwane. Right?
He must use it.
He must use it.
Okay.
And my dad was telling me when he went to Sweden, if the mayor of the town drove to work, his own private car that he bought with his own private money, there would be uproar. Why? He implemented a public transport system. He must use it every day. If as long as he's acting in an official capacity of going to work, right, he must go to work in the work that he's done, which is the public transport system. How quickly would the taxi system change, right, if the Minister of Education had to take a taxi to work? Yeah. If they said no limos go to Parliament, they must take public transport to Parliament. We will not pay for their private cars with the security. They must use the public transport that's available.
Metro.
Sure, they will have a special coach. They will be the minister's coach.
No.
In Metro. No, they must. Why? Safety. People are mad at these people. They want to kill them.
Yeah.
Safety. We must think about that.
They must die.
No. We must be reasonable.
Yeah.
We must be very reasonable.
But however, that coach shouldn't be different to all the other coaches.
That coach must look exactly the same as all the other coaches. It's just that now not anybody has access.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
The only difference is access. You will see Metro Rail will look better than the Gautrain now. Tomorrow. If we said that all their children must go to public schools, right? And not all of them must be in the same public school, right? Because now, if you are the MEC of Eastern Cape, you must live in the Eastern Cape.
Okay.
You know, if you are the mayor of this town, you must live in that town. If you are you can't have the controller of some small municipality in the northwest living in Joburg.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Okay.
And that's the current system. You know, you can live wherever you want, so you
Sure.
come live in a nice place. He'll take the money that's supposed to be spent there, buy himself a nice house here, and do nothing for those people because he doesn't feel their problems.
Even he doesn't know what's going on there.
Yes, so he must live there. That's if we'd had that, our country would be better. Which is something we can look forward to. I mean, we could change the system.
That's why I say Rue should be like in politics, my dude.
I feel like once you go
not
into
necessarily
politics,
as a politician
it
as
dilutes
such,
what
but
you
like
believe in.
if you could be a well-known like political analyst or
Not even, it must be within.
like within.
Hey, do
Guys,
this.
you know the thing is that people like Rue would never be listened to in government.
Cause sense.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
For example,
that's-
have you seen simple example? Someone puts up a political status on Facebook. You go there with a liberal opinion, just watch the attack. because you are saying something different, not opposing what they're fighting for, but you're saying something different. Just watch the attack.
And the world doesn't want different.
No.
The world doesn't want
If ANC functions like this, this is how we function as South Africa. If Ru wants to come as ANC and come up with a new idea, no. Why?
Okay.
All right.
On a lighter note.
Yeah, on a significantly lighter note. Okay, let's just break down Valentine's Day real quick. I think this day bothers me quite a bit now. Like now that I'm getting older. Before it was cute, getting to school, having like a secret Valentine, giving you a gift and whatnot. That was nice, And then after a while, it started looking a little materialistic, and I'm like, love sucks, but hey, the presents are nice. And then now I'm just like, this is just another ridiculous day. Let's talk about it. Do you guys celebrate the day?
No.
Is there a particular reason why?
I do not see the sense in celebrating it. Like, let me compare it to that 67 minutes for Mandela.
Yes.
Somebody explained this to me because I felt the same way about it. I usually don't do any charitable work.
Okay.
But because there is a day for it, people who are like me that don't do it would do it on that day, and they might like it and do it more often.
Okay.
However, with Valentine's Day, this whole idea of love and whatever, if you're with this person constantly throughout the year, why does it need to be emphasized on this specific day? Why can't you do it when you want to?
Okay.
But why can't you do charity work every day? Why do you choose
'Cause I don't want to.
Mandela Day to do it?
No, because I don't want to.
Well, him specifically, he doesn't do
Yes,
the whole
I'm talking
charity
about
thing.
people who feel FOMO and don't want to post pictures on Instagram like, hey, I did this on Mandela Day.
Here's the thing.
Okay, I did that, but anyway.
Yeah, because here's my thing. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, period. But I don't see fault in anyone doing it. Because if I choose not to do something on Valentine's Day, it's because, for example, like I said, I've never had a partner on Valentine's Day. And you don't even need a partner. You can even do something for your friend. But for me, Valentine's Day is just another day. Because, for me, I don't choose Valentine's Day to show you how much I care or whatever. But for someone who feels like there's a significant, it's like a birthday, right? For them, Valentine's Day is like an anniversary date, or is like just a special occasion to go the extra mile. Because you can't afford to buy gifts and all these lovely things every day or on a random day during the year. But you feel like this day is an occasion, right, for you to celebrate what you have with this person. Because it looks like the older we get now, we're starting to bash the day. That we want to discourage people from being all lovey-dovey or doing cute things for their person on this day, and that it should be an all-black day, and don't even celebrate it, don't even consider, acknowledge that it came by. But I feel like it's unfair because there are people who honestly, genuinely feel like this day is just an occasion for me to go the extra mile with my partner. It's just like birthdays. Some people see it as, you can celebrate your, living every day, but on your birthday is the one day you feel like, okay, no, this is a date that I can set to celebrate my life, right? But bashing and saying, why do it, I think it's wrong. It's taking from that person who actually believes it.
Okay, but now, I understand you not having a problem with the bashing. If I am somebody who just doesn't celebrate it, I don't see the significance, I see nothing about it. I get zero, it's a Sunday to me. Yeah? And then you are somebody who paints their toenails red even and wears boots on that day.
And we're dating.
Yeah. How does that work? Is there a compromise now?
You need to compromise. It's a relationship. I mean, for example, I'm dating someone who doesn't also believe in Valentine's Day, but if I did, because I have the character to be that girl to be like, oh my gosh, it's Valentine's Day. But if I understand that he doesn't like the day because of the material, because I don't even think people have a problem with the day. It's the fact that people feel obliged to buy gifts. That's the big problem. Well, for example, he wasn't with his girlfriend last year on Valentine's Day, and she is a Valentine's Day girl. And he hung out with me not his girlfriend, on Valentine's Day. And it's wrong because number one,
can anyone see the pattern? I thought it was a lot here. Like I was like, yeah, girl. Okay.
No, guys, listen. We've been friends. We've been friends. I've been with him for the past 2 Valentine's. Before this one, past 2 years, I've been with him on Valentine's Day. But it was a coincidence. He didn't go to her because she was waiting for something. Right? She was expecting something from him, and he did it deliberately and said, "Nope, I'm not gonna go because I don't want to get you that thing." What I think she should have done, and if you're not into it and we're dating and I am, what I would have done is done something special for you instead of expecting something from you. Correct? And if you don't do anything for me, but I do something for you on Valentine's Day, I won't catch feelings because I know that you don't like it. But I would like to show you what I see and what I like about the day, right? This is in a relationship context. If, for example, I'm always going to use him because that's all I know. But with him, he's not a gift. I'm not going to go buy a gift, my love. But I'm very giving. So I will buy him this and this and this. And now he's learned to accept it with open hands because he's like, okay, no, she's not expecting anything in return. So this is actually a relationship. She's thoughtful, so I can try sometimes. And he has. He tried and it worked. And I cried because I was like, oh, okay, cool. So the message is getting here. So if you're not into it because of the materialistic thing, she should at least try and introduce you to this whole Valentine's Day thing and not expect you to get her anything.
I think it goes back.
Everybody's spoken.
No, it goes back to the materialism thing. I think that's the beef that I have with Valentine's Day. The fact that people now, it even goes beyond Valentine's Day. I think, relationships in general. I think, let's forget about the special days that we dedicate to everybody, Like, I'm talking about days in general, or relationships in general. You find that a girl like her, would be like, oh no, it's whatever day, it's Thursday on such and such a month, I expect something, or anniversaries and things like that, I think because of days like this, this is now just a very general statement, I'm open to correction here, but it's days like this that kind of promote materialism in relationships, you know what I'm saying? You find yourself expecting gifts on particular days or just random days, or because this person, your partner, is capable of giving you these things, you expect to be given gifts and to be taken out and whatever, I mean, I've gotten, the last relationship I was in, this guy, because he looked at where I come from, the family that I'm from, he thought that, this girl, she likes going out and she likes things, she wants to be given, a new pair of shoes, maybe every 3 months or whatever, and she wants to be taken to expensive restaurants and things like that. And then when we had this discussion, because I think he bought me a pair of shoes at some point, I didn't ask for them. It was just like a random gift. I didn't ask for these shoes. I was like, but why did you buy me these shoes? I mean, I feel like you are still saving up towards getting your own place. You could have left that money somewhere else and put it to better use. I mean, these shoes, I'm going to outgrow them at some point. Me and shoes, we have that relationship. I'll like you for 3 months and then I don't want to wear them anymore because none of my clothes go together with the shoes. And he was like, no, the thing is, I just thought that you were that kind of girl. You're that girl who expects gifts, who wants to be, spoiled and things like that because you come from a family that, does things, they buy things, they do things, And I'm like, but it's not necessary. And you find that that behavior carries on to other relationships now where guys, don't see the need to give their girls gifts, and then girls will be like, but why don't you buy me this? I mean, I feel like, I've been given this, my ex did this for me, my ex did that for me. I don't know. The problem I have is materialism.
But guys, can I just say, then you can say, the problem is that it's not even materialistic things, it's money. Money is the factor. Right? Because if I'm saying I'm going to get him something, or I'm going to buy my boyfriend something for Valentine's, or I'm going to get him something, I don't have to pay for it. I can simply write you a letter. I mean, people don't write letters anymore. I swear, write a letter to your boyfriend or your girlfriend. I swear they will stay. So I will write you a letter. and I will even mail it. Okay? Make sure that it ends up in your mailbox on Valentine's Day, and you will open it up, and I'll tell you to read me something. Like I'm very old. I'm very childlike, and the older we get, we forget things like that. Because for me, I hate store-bought cards. They are so expensive.
Yeah.
A simple card is like 34, 35 rand. And it just has a sentence that you could have wrote with your pen.
The message is very dead.
It's very dead.
there's
It just
no
you're
emotion
paying
to
for
it.
that blank space over there that you can just write whatever you want. Right? And they don't even read that part. They're looking for what you wrote. So why don't you just take out a piece of paper and write? Put it in an envelope, seal it, and that's it. It doesn't have to cost you anything.
My letters died in primary school. I'm sorry.
Okay. We can have a discussion on this for 70 episodes. We wouldn't get to the bottom of it. It's a human thing, and like all human things, it's very complex. There's many aspects to it. I'm going to touch on a few. Right? The main aspect of it is Valentine's Day as a concept. Valentine's Day is invented by capitalists in capitalism in order to sell more of a certain product at a certain time of the year.
Okay.
Right? That is why all the shops will tell you it's Valentine's Day. Right? All the restaurants will let you know it's Valentine's Day. All the people who stand to gain financially are pushing Valentine's Day heavily. Right? Because they know they stand to make a lot of money. Why are they going to make money? They're touching on the one thing that is always guaranteed to make you money: human emotion. Right? If I tell you that if you don't buy your child an Xbox, it means you don't love them.
That's fine.
Right? I don't love them. As you as a person, it's fine, right? But if 20% of the world buys into it, right, then they can make another 20% of the world feel bad about not buying into it. Who will in turn make another 20% of the world also play along because they want to fit in, right? And then what do you have? 60% of the world is doing it, and because the majority is doing it, most of the world will do it, right? So now Xbox will be a sign of love, right? It's like diamond rings for engagement. You know who came up with that concept? It's not a 1,000-year-old tradition that people used to do. No, it was the De Beers Diamond Company. They tell you diamonds are rare, diamonds are so precious, it's not allowed if you don't buy them a big diamond ring. Diamonds are not rare. It's one of the most abundant substances in the world, right?
Yeah.
One. Diamonds are not that expensive. That is why they will encourage you to keep your diamond after you bought it for a lot of money. Because if you try to sell it, you realize it has practically no resale value. Because diamonds aren't worth much, right? Diamond rings are expensive because the market has been hyped up. Because we've all been told that you need to have a diamond ring for engagement. People bought into it, that's why it's a thing. Hooray to De Beers for having a brilliant marketing campaign. Same with Valentine's Day. It's been marketed, right? You need to buy a woman flowers and chocolates and teddy bears and gifts, right? And notice how it is. It's not you need to show love to your partner. It's you need to buy a woman this and this and that, right? Men feed into it because we just want to make women happy. Women feed into it because they're getting stuff, right? So it's being pushed on both sides. Right now, there's a diversity of relationships, which is why Valentine's Day is harder to sell. Because the dynamics of human relationships on a romantic level has changed, right? It gets harder to sell. But they buy into it. They've pushed it in another way. And it's still being pushed from the money perspective. From the human perspective, human beings are sentimental and we love sentiment. That is why as a human beings, we've come up and we've decided there's this religion, it's called Christianity. It has a savior. He came to earth. He was born. It doesn't matter if he was born in June, July, August, September, October. No, we decided on the 25th of December we're going to celebrate his birth, right? And it's brilliant, right? So now human beings decide we're going to celebrate loving each other and how much we love each other. We're going to base it on Saint Valentine and how much he loved someone and the sacrifice he made. And we took that small culture and custom from a small group of people. We applied it to everyone because everybody liked it, and business pushed it because it was making money. And now we get to this point, and every holiday reaches this point where most of the people celebrating it or being pushed to celebrate it don't understand where it's from and only see the money. And when you only see the money, you don't know the reason. You lose the connect, and then the emotional connection is gone, and then even the money side starts fading.
Now it's why.
And now you ask yourself why, and then it's like, no, you just want my money, right? There's no emotional connection.
Which is true.
Which is what's happened. They do just want your money, but in the past it was easier for them to make that emotional connection, right? For lack of a better phrase, emotionally blackmail you. into doing that. The other aspect of this now is then the whole emotion of it, right? People love each other. People like being shown that they're loved. People like showing that they love, right? Signs of affection. People's love languages are different. Some people find it hard to spend time with each other. Busy lives, busy schedules, busy this. So Valentine's Day comes around. You've known for months Valentine's Day is coming. You've planned that, even though I'm busy, I need to make a flight to Korea and then come back and be in Cape Town and do this and do that, right? On this day, my significant other has my full attention for these 24 hours. That's Valentine's Day for you, right? That's amazing. That's beautiful. Right? It's not, okay, I must buy her chocolates, flowers, drop them off at her house and leave. Because that don't mean anything. Especially if throughout the year you buy your lover things to compensate for not being there. On Valentine's Day, you can decide, okay, I'm going to be there physically. Some people's love language is touch. That's why Valentine's Day is a special day to have sex. And get together in that way. For some people, their love language is
born in November, man.
Yeah, quite a lot of people are born in November. Actually,
My nephew's born on the 12th of November.
Alright.
I mean,
Yeah.
9 months.
Let's do the math.
Hey, man.
exactly. And there's this movement. There's another aspect of Valentine's Day and the reaction you have to it of being anti. It's not a new movement, but it's the cool thing now. Anti-establishment, anti-patriarchy, anti-misogyny, anti-Christmas, anti-religion, everybody's just anti. Valentine's Day is just another one, a name on a long list of things we're anti. People are going out of their way to celebrate Valentine's Day. People are having fun, people are connecting. And then someone posts, why you people celebrate Valentine's Day? I'm having an anti-Valentine's Day party. You're being extra, you're being unnecessary. It's fine. Be you, will allow you, you're not hurting anyone. But at the same time, leave other people to celebrate it. But at the same time, leave other people to not celebrate it. And at the same time, leave people to be anti it, And if you don't care about Valentine's Day, it's fine. If you do care about Valentine's Day, it's fine. If you're against Valentine's Day, it's fine. If you're for it, it's fine. At the end of the day, it is literally just a day. Celebrating it, not celebrating it, will not change your life. Personally, I'm going to celebrate it in a good time of my life. I've celebrated it for a few times, right? Sometimes with a romantic partner, which has been the best time. Sometimes with someone who's just a friend who I decided I'm just going to treat you for this Valentine's Day because I have no one to treat, right? And I love it. It's beautiful. When I do celebrate with a romantic partner, I go all out. Don't tell people, but I'm a bit of a romantic. And I am that roses everywhere on the floor type guy with the candles, and I'll cook you a home cooked meal, I'll give you a foot massage, rub your back, today we're gonna play your fantasy type thing, just I'm that guy. But now to go and bash other people because they don't like the day,
No.
to go and bash other people because they do,
No.
it's fine, Valentine's Day.
Allow them.
Allow.
Alright then, on that note, I think we'll wrap it up, yo. Oh yeah, by the way, please find us on Twitter. We are at,
The white pill.
I think, are there underscores there?
Yes. At
Okay, yeah.
the underscore white
Underscore
underscore
pill. Yeah, and then Instagram is pretty much the same handle, and where you're listening now is most on Facebook and YouTube. So sharp.
Peace out
See you guys.
and love.
Holla back.
We